Jesus handled narcissists will surprise you. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to take you on a transformative journey, a journey that reveals the profound lessons from the greatest teacher the world has ever known. Whether you're facing toxic personalities, manipulation, or those who think the world revolves around them, we're going to learn how to navigate these challenges with wisdom, strength, and grace. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dealt with someone who made everything about them? Someone who dismissed your value, tested your patience, or tried to break your spirit? Of course you have. We all have. But here's the real question. How do you respond? Most of us either get defensive, lash out, or crumble under the weight of their arrogance. But here's the game changer. Jesus showed us a radically different approach. His responses were not just revolutionary, they were empowering, life-changing, and deeply practical for every one of us here today. Let's dive into how he handled narcissists, and trust me, it will surprise you. Stand firm in your identity. The first thing Jesus taught us is this: know who you are. Narcissists thrive on shaking your foundation. But Jesus never let their words or actions define him. He knew his mission, his worth, and his identity. You have to know yours too. When someone questions your value, you stand tall because your worth isn't up for negotiation. Master the power of silence. Here's a truth bomb. Not every battle needs to be fought. Jesus often responded to accusations and manipulation with silence. Why? Because silence can be louder than words. It sends a message that their games won't control your energy or your focus. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Ask better questions. When confronted by narcissists, Jesus didn't react emotionally. He asked thought-provoking questions that flipped the script. Instead of getting defensive, he challenged them to reflect. This is your superpower. Ask questions that make others reconsider their behavior instead of letting them drag you into their drama. Set clear boundaries. Listen closely. Compassion does not mean tolerating abuse. Jesus loved people, but he didn't allow anyone to derail his purpose. He walked away when necessary. He drew clear lines when others tried to manipulate him. Boundaries are not barriers. They're bridges to protect your peace. Lead with calm confidence. Narcissists want to provoke you, to throw you off balance. But Jesus never gave them that satisfaction. He responded calmly, no matter how heated the situation. Why? Because confidence doesn't need to yell. It speaks with quiet strength. When you keep your cool, you keep your power. Call out truth without fear. Now let's be real. Jesus didn't shy away from calling out toxic behavior. But here's the key. He spoke the truth with courage and clarity, not with anger or malice. When you face manipulative people, don't be afraid to shine a light on their actions. The truth is your shield. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson. Forgiveness is freedom, not for them, but for you. Jesus forgave even when others didn't deserve it, but he also didn't forget the lessons he learned. Forgiveness doesn't mean allowing someone back into your inner circle. It means releasing their hold on your heart so you can move forward. So, my friends, what's the takeaway? When you face narcissists or any challenging people, don't let them control your emotions, your energy, or your purpose. Stand firm, stay calm, and walk in wisdom. Because here's the truth. You are stronger than you think. You are capable of handling anything life throws your way. And just like Jesus, you can rise above the chaos and be the light the world desperately needs. Now, go out there, step into your power, and show the world how unshakable you really are. Know your worth and never let others define your identity. Think about this for a second. How often do we let other people's opinions shape how we see ourselves? Someone makes a snide remark, doubts your abilities, or outright dismisses you, and suddenly you start second-guessing everything about yourself. But here's the deal. No one can take your worth away unless you hand it to them. That's the first and most important truth. When Jesus stood before people who questioned his identity, he never wavered, not once. He didn't let their words, their doubts, or their accusations shake him. Why? Because he knew exactly who he was. That clarity of identity was his armor, and it's yours too. You have to decide right here and now, who are you? Not what others want you to be, not what their words suggest, but who you know you are at your core. People with narcissistic tendencies thrive on breaking others down to build themselves up. They'll make you feel small so they can feel bigger. But guess what? You're not small. You're a force. The moment you start believing in your unshakable worth, you take their power away. It all starts with self-awareness. What are your values? What do you stand for? What makes you uniquely you? If you don't define it, someone else will. And let's be honest, their version will never do you justice. So define yourself and hold on to that definition like your life depends on it. When someone tries to undermine you, here's what I want you to do. Pause. Don't react emotionally. Don't buy into their narrative. Instead, remind yourself of your truth. You are not their words. You're not their opinions. You are so much bigger than that. Jesus didn't waste time explaining himself to people who were committed to misunderstanding him, and neither should you. Some people will never see your light, not because it's not bright, but because they're too blinded by their own ego. That's okay. It's not your job to shrink yourself for their comfort. Know your value so deeply that their attempts to diminish it roll off you like water off a duck's back. Build that foundation so strong that even the strongest storm can't shake it. You are here for a purpose, and your worth isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. Own it. Embrace it. Live it. Every day. Silence is sometimes the loudest response. Have you ever noticed that silence has a way of cutting through the noise? It's like a calm within the storm. Most of us think we have to fight back, prove a point, or defend ourselves when we're attacked, especially by manipulative people. But the truth? Silence can be your most powerful weapon. When Jesus stood before people who hurled accusations at him, he didn't shout back. He didn't defend himself endlessly. He didn't let their words drag him into their drama. Instead, he stayed silent. And that silence spoke volumes. Think about it. Narcissists thrive on attention. They feed off of your reactions. When you argue, explain, or try to prove them wrong, you're giving them exactly what they want, your energy. But when you choose silence, you starve them of the power they crave. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean submission. It means you are in control. It means you're choosing to rise above the noise and protect your peace. That takes strength, real strength. Next time someone tries to provoke you, try this. Take a deep breath. Instead of reacting, pause. Let the silence settle. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but watch what happens. Their words lose their impact because you're not giving them the fuel they need to keep going. Silence is a boundary in action. It's a statement that says, you don't control my emotions. And let me tell you, that is one of the most liberating feelings in the world. When you stop engaging in their games, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus. You show them and yourself that you're not here to be pulled into their chaos. You're here to stay centered and strong. Let your silence be the loudest response to their manipulation. Use it wisely. Ask thoughtful questions to shift the narrative. When someone tries to manipulate or belittle you, the instinct is often to go on the defensive. But here's the thing. Reacting emotionally plays into their hands. Jesus had a better strategy. He flipped the script by asking powerful, thought-provoking questions. Why does this work? Because questions force people to reflect. They take the focus off of you and put it back onto them. It's a psychological shift that takes the wind out of their sails. Instead of arguing, try asking, why do you feel that way? Or what outcome are you looking for? These questions aren't confrontational, they're empowering. They show you're not here to play games, you're here to understand and move forward. Ask thoughtful questions to shift the narrative. Continue. Here's the beauty of asking questions. It forces the other person to engage their rational mind instead of their emotional triggers. When you ask the right questions, you're not just diffusing their attempt to control the situation, you're redirecting it. Jesus was a master at this. When the Pharisees tried to trap him with loaded questions, he didn't react with anger or defensiveness. He responded with counter questions that exposed their true motives. He turned the focus back on them, and suddenly their power dissolved. Let's break this down. When you're dealing with someone manipulative, ask yourself, what's their real intention? Are they trying to prove something? Are they looking for control? Instead of getting drawn into their game, ask a question that disrupts their flow. For example, can you help me understand why this is so important to you? Or what outcome would make you happy here? These kinds of questions accomplish two things. First, they shift the dynamic of the conversation. Second, they force the other person to reflect on their behavior, even if just for a moment. Narcissists rarely pause to think about their actions because they're too focused on their ego. A good question can be like a mirror, showing them something they didn't expect to see. But here's the catch. Your questions need to come from a place of calm confidence. If you ask with anger or sarcasm, it loses its power. You want your tone to communicate curiosity, not judgment. That's when the magic happens. Remember, questions are a tool, not a weapon. You're not trying to win the conversation, you're trying to elevate it. You're taking the high road and steering the interaction toward clarity and truth. Here's the challenge I want to give you. The next time someone tries to manipulate you, pause and ask a question, not a reactive question, but a thoughtful one. Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how the power dynamic changes. Asking questions is about reclaiming your control. It's about staying in the driver's seat of the conversation and not letting anyone steer you off course. Use this tool wisely and you'll find yourself navigating even the most challenging interactions with ease. Set boundaries to protect your peace. Let me say this loud and clear. Boundaries are not selfish. They are essential. If you don't set boundaries, people will walk all over you, not because they're inherently evil, but because humans test limits. Narcissists in particular will push as far as you let them. Jesus knew this. While he was compassionate and loving, he also knew when to say no. He knew when to walk away. He understood that his purpose and his peace came first. And that's a lesson we all need to take to heart. Here's the truth. Boundaries are not walls. They're not about shutting people out. They're about defining what's acceptable in your life. They're about saying, this is my space, my energy, my time, and I get to decide who has access to it. You might be thinking, but isn't that selfish? Absolutely not. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They teach others how to treat you, and they protect your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. When someone tries to push past your boundaries, you have to stand firm. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being clear. A simple, I'm not comfortable with that, or I need some time to think about this, can go a long way. The hardest part about setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback. Let's be real. Some people won't like it. They'll try to guilt you, manipulate you, or make you feel bad for protecting yourself. But here's what you need to remember. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Boundaries aren't just about saying no. They're about saying yes to the things that truly matter. Yes to your peace. Yes to your priorities. Yes to your purpose. When you start setting boundaries, you'll notice something incredible. Your energy will shift. You'll feel lighter, stronger, and more in control of your life. And the people who truly respect you will honor those boundaries. The ones who don't, they were never meant to be in your inner circle anyway. Here's the bottom line. If you want to live a life of purpose and peace, you need to set boundaries. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Start today, protect your energy, protect your heart, and watch how your world transforms. Stay calm and confident under pressure. Calm is your superpower. In a world full of chaos, the ability to stay grounded and composed is what separates the strong from the weak. And let me tell you, when you're dealing with narcissists or difficult people, staying calm isn't just a strategy, it's a necessity. Jesus modeled this perfectly. No matter how much pressure he faced, whether it was accusations, betrayal, or outright hostility, he never lost his cool. He didn't react emotionally. He didn't let the situation dictate his state of mind. He stayed calm, and that calmness gave him an edge. When someone tries to provoke you, their goal is to make you lose control. Why? Because when you're reactive, you're vulnerable. But when you stay calm, you hold the power. You're unshakable. Staying calm doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means mastering them. It means taking a deep breath, pausing, and responding with intention instead of reacting on impulse. The next time you feel your emotions bubbling up, remember this. Your calm is a message. It says, I'm in control of myself, and you can't take that away from me. That's a powerful statement. When you stay calm, you also think clearer, you make better decisions, you don't get caught up in the heat of the moment. You respond from a place of strength and wisdom, not fear or frustration. Confidence is the natural result of calmness. When you're calm, you exude a quiet confidence that speaks louder than words. You don't need to shout or argue to prove your point. Your presence alone commands respect. This takes practice. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Start small. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, take a moment to pause before you respond. Focus on your breath. Remind yourself that you are in control of your emotions, not them. Calmness is contagious. When you stay composed, you set the tone for the interaction. You bring peace into the chaos. And that, my friends, is a gift not just for you, but for everyone around you. Speak truth boldly, but without malice. Let's face it, when you're dealing with toxic or manipulative people, the temptation to lash out can be overwhelming. You might feel like calling them out aggressively, hitting them with a truth bomb, or even putting them in their place. But here's the thing, truth spoken without wisdom often loses its power. Jesus was a master of speaking truth boldly, but he did it without malice. He didn't yell, he didn't belittle, he didn't come from a place of anger or resentment. Instead, he spoke with clarity and purpose. And that's what made his words hit so hard. Think about it. The truth doesn't need to be shouted. The truth doesn't need to be laced with insults. The truth, when delivered with calm confidence, is powerful enough on its own. That's the standard you should aim for. When someone wrongs you, manipulates you, or tries to control you, you have every right to speak up. But how you deliver that truth makes all the difference. If you approach the conversation with a sense of calm and respect, your words will carry more weight. Here's the challenge. Before you speak, pause and ask yourself, what's my intention here? If your intention is to hurt, retaliate, or win, your message will get lost in the delivery. But if your intention is to bring clarity, set boundaries, or inspire change, your words will resonate. Boldness doesn't mean being rude or confrontational. It means being unafraid to address the issues that matter. It means saying what needs to be said, even when it's uncomfortable, but doing so in a way that uplifts rather than tears down. Jesus often called out hypocrisy, but he didn't attack people personally. He addressed their actions and behaviors. He focused on the truth, not on humiliating them. That's the kind of boldness you should strive for. Direct, honest, and rooted in integrity. When you speak truth boldly, you're not just standing up for yourself. You're setting an example for others. You're showing them that it's possible to address conflict without resorting to negativity or aggression. This takes practice, no doubt about it. Start by being mindful of your tone and your words. Choose clarity over volume. Choose respect over retaliation. And most importantly, choose truth over ego. Speaking truth boldly isn't about being liked. It's about being authentic. It's about standing in your power and refusing to compromise your values. And when you do this, you'll find that even the most difficult conversations become opportunities for growth and transformation. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson. Forgiveness, it's a word that carries so much weight, doesn't it? We're told to forgive those who hurt us, but let's be honest, it's not always easy, especially when the person who wronged you doesn't apologize or even acknowledge what they've done. But here's the truth. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of resentment and anger. Because let me tell you, holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Jesus showed us the ultimate example of forgiveness. Even as he was betrayed, mocked, and crucified, he said, "Forgive them," not because they deserved it, but because he refused to let their actions define his heart. Forgiveness doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. And it definitely doesn't mean forgetting the lesson. Forgiveness is about releasing the emotional hold they have on you so you can move forward. When you forgive, you take back your power. You see, I refuse to let your actions keep me stuck. That's strength, that's freedom. But let me be clear, forgiving doesn't mean putting yourself in harm's way. It doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior. Boundaries are still essential. Here's where the balance comes in. You can forgive someone and still learn from the experience. You can let go of the pain while holding on to the wisdom it taught you. That's the sweet spot where healing and growth coexist. Think about the lessons hidden in your pain. Did it teach you to set stronger boundaries? Did it show you what you truly deserve? Did it reveal something about your own strength? Don't ignore those lessons. They're your compass for the future. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time decision. Some days it will feel easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. When you forgive, you lighten your load. You free up energy that can now be directed toward your goals, your passions, and your happiness. And isn't that what you deserve? The final piece of this puzzle is gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Be grateful for the strength you gained through the struggle. Be grateful for the clarity you found through the conflict. Because every challenge, no matter how painful, is an opportunity to grow. Forgive, not for them, but for you. Let go of the weight that's been holding you back. Embrace the lesson and step boldly into the life you were meant to live. There you have it, 7 life-changing strategies to handle even the most difficult people and situations. Each one is a step toward reclaiming your power, protecting your peace, and walking in your purpose. Implement these principles and you'll not only navigate challenges with grace, you'll rise above them as the unstoppable force you are. Reclaim your power and walk in purpose. Now, let me bring this home for you. Every challenge, every difficult person, and every hard moment is an opportunity, a chance for you to grow, evolve, and step into the greatness you're meant for. Handling narcissists, manipulators, or anyone who tries to dim your light isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about rising above their attempts to control your narrative. Jesus gave us the blueprint. He faced resistance, rejection, and criticism, yet he remained unwavering. He didn't shrink back, retaliate, or lose his peace. Instead, he leaned into his purpose with strength, clarity, and love. And you have that same power within you. Here's the truth. The most powerful thing you can do in the face of opposition is to stand firm in who you are. Know your worth and never let anyone define you. Protect your peace with boundaries. Respond with calmness, confidence, and clarity. Speak truth boldly, but without malice. Forgive, not for them, but for your own freedom. This is how you take back control. This is how you stop being reactive to the world around you and start living on your terms. When you embody these principles, you're no longer at the mercy of other people's actions or opinions. You become unstoppable. You've got one life, and it's far too precious to waste it battling negativity or letting others pull you off course. So today, make the decision to rise above. Handle challenges with grace. Protect your heart, own your worth, and walk forward boldly in your purpose. Because let me tell you, the world needs the best version of you, not a version that's defined by others, but the version that's fully you, unapologetic, strong, and unstoppable. Step into that power and start living it now. You're ready. Let's go.